double room in popular Southside Street. That's what it said in our advert, which wasn't expecting me to call. Don't know what I was expecting, certainly not this. I said to her the day I moved in, I said, popular, that's an understatement. She was stood there chopping up garlic and chilli. I was sat here. She said, don't you know what it is? It is a cultural melting pot. I said, I've eaten, I'm sure it's delicious. She said, no, out there, it's a cultural melting pot. She said, you can count how many different nationalities you can see out of the window. She said, it's like living in New York. I've never been to New York. Doubt I ever will. I'm sure it's nothing like this. I bet in New York, nobody would think it was all right to dump a dirty, great big mattress on the pavement. That's what they did, just out there it was. Wouldn't happen in my street. Our Tommy just wouldn't have it. He would go and knock on their door, tell them to move it under no uncertain terms. That is one thing about Tommy. Stick his neck out for you, especially if it's concerning a public footpath. She was actually serious though, Ross. She said, why don't you look out the window and count the number of different nationalities you can see? I said, do you ever play count the what? But I stopped myself. Because you can't see anything these days, can you? And anyway, she had a tight grip of that chopping knife. I mean, imagine I was to say the wrong thing, look at her the wrong way. Because they're unpredictable, aren't they? These city types stab you as soon as look at you. She hadn't asked me about my nerves, so I didn't like to say. I just popped upstairs and took a wee Valium. Felt a bit better. I'm up and down. Homesick, I guess. Away to a big strange city on your own. At my age. Didn't have much choice though, did you, Annie? First day here I never left the flat. Scared I'd get lost. No sense of direction, you see. None whatsoever. Tommy always. But they're out most of the day, so I have the place to myself most of the time. And I sit here and I do my crossword. 4 down, 6 across. 2 words, 7 and 8. A person who takes more than a passing interest in the business of their neighbours. C something something T. And then the second word starts with T and ends in R. It's not me right flaunt, so it has. But 3 days in, I'm starting to feel all cooped up. I said, oh, you're going to have to get out of here, or you're going to have to be in for one of your attacks. So I walked round the corner and along there. Oh, I wish I'd stayed in the house. Thought I'd fallen asleep and woken up in Bangladesh. Oh, it was chatter, 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 fruit and vegetables everywhere you looked. And dozens of them on the streets, kids running wild, chasing each other. Playing football on the road, and the heat, oh my god, how they've managed to get an Asian climate going round there, I'll never know. The taxpayers' money, no doubt. And that's another thing. They're not just Asian. There's another, I don't know where to God they're from, they've got dark eyes, dark hair, and their skin's not white, but it's not brown. And I was stood stock still trying to take it all in. I thought, I need to have a little scoot of my inhaler. When a big group of their children ran past me, and you'll not believe me when I tell you what they were doing. Singing! Singing! I said to Ross, is there not a number you can phone to get that stopped? She said, I rather like it. I said, you rather would. She always thought she was a wee bit better than the rest of us. So anyway, I went into one of the fruit shops just to cool down. Bought an apple, only thing I recognised. It was wall-to-wall exotic in there. Say for example you just fancied a bird's trifle, you would not know where to start in there. So I thought at least you know where you are with a Golden Delicious. The woman that served me was wearing one of those veils, you know, that the French have banned. I said to her, you must be absolutely boiling with that on. She said, I'm used to it, I wear it in all weathers. I said, oh, you sound like you're from Glasgow. She said, that's because I am. My family have been here for 50 years. I wasn't expecting that. So she weighed my apple and she said, that'll be 15p, please. You're not from round here, are you? Went into my purse and I'd no change. I had to give her a £1 coin. I said, you're right, I'm a long way from home. And it wasn't until later on that night I realised I walked out the shop without the change. Oh, she'll be thinking I'm some sort of Looney Tune. So I've not been back since. But I was thinking, that veil she wears, I mean, it must be quite good, being able to get up in the morning and not do your hair. And then you get the ones that wear them, their eyes are just poking out like this. And I thought, God, imagine, I mean, I'm too claustrophobic for that, but imagine getting up and you'd be able to go out in the morning without putting a stitch of makeup on. It's been a long while since I've been able to do that. I mean, men don't have to bother about their appearance so much. Bother about yours though, don't they? The years catch up with you. I suppose it's only natural that after a while they'll stop finding you attractive. But I've always hated that word, companions. Do you know, I've just remembered though, it was years before I met Tommy. Me and the girls, we went to this fortune teller, Gypsy Magdalena, what a laugh we had. She says to me, she says, you're going to meet someone with the initial T, you're going to marry him, he will adore you and he'll never leave you. Gypsy Magdalena, that's what she said. You know, I still feel inside though like I'm Mr. Wellington 1973. I could have had any man I wanted. Tommy used to say it was my legs that he first noticed. I didn't notice him at all. It took me years to notice him. He always loved me that wee bit more. I was alright with that. I felt safe and cherished all those years. So I'm doing really well with this one. Even Ross helped out last night with a few clues. Easy ones though. She's not half as clever as she thinks she is. When we were at school, Mum and Dad would always say to the rest of the family, Ross is so clever even though I get the top marks at school. Somehow she had them all fooled. But she did go on to become a lawyer, whereas I became a housewife, mum of 3. And now, well, I'm just another victim of the credit crunch. Redundant on the scrap heap. Ross says it's the start of an exciting new chapter in my life. I said, well, how comes when I close my eyes, all I can see is credits rolling? A month I've been here now. And it's funny, I don't notice the foreigners so much. But I'm never away from that window. It's these kids. Roma, apparently. From Slovakia, Ross says. One day I came home and it wasn't just one mattress, it was 2, piled up on top of the other. There was at least 12 of them, doing backflips, somersaults, double flips. Well, my nerves were shattered. All taking it in turns. Ross doesn't like me giving them into trouble, even when they're leaning our gate. I said, those kids have got no respect for your property. Anyway, I took a wee Valium and I went up the park. It's lovely round there. And while I was out, I heard someone say, excuse me. I thought, they can't be talking to me. I turned round and it was the woman from the fruit shop. She said, I've got your change. I didn't think it was crazy. And she said, you don't look much like your sister. I said, well, that's because I've always been the good-looking one. She laughed at that. When I got back, the gymnastics were in full flow. So I thought, oh my God. So I pulled aside one of the bigger boys and I said to him, do you know what to do? Go home and say to your mum and dad, buy me one of those great big trampolines. I said, everyone in my street's got one. All the back gardens at least one. I said, I'm sure you get them in Argos. He just looked at me. Don't think he understood. So I gave him the Asian sweets that the woman had given me. I didn't fancy them much. Do you know what he did? He shared them out amongst all the kids. And I haven't seen any bumps or bruises or accidents yet, but, well, I'll keep an eye on them, just in case. Now this crossword.